Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Adobe Live Holiday Week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh, we have a packed session today. But before we get into the thick of it, I just want to say hi to everyone. I'm feeling so festive. I don't know if you are, but I'm feeling extremely festive with all of the great content that Adobe's been putting in. So I want to say hi to Robert. Hi, CJ. Hi, Garrett. Hi, Oliver. Hi, Patrick. Arshaya, it's so good to see you. Okay, so today we will be designing some ornaments, but as you know me, I didn't take the assignment lightly. I wanted to make sure that the ornaments that we were working on had a dual action. So not only will we be designing ornaments that you can print at home or print at the printer, but you can also double as a greeting card. Right. Okay. So let's get going. I have prepared for you a presentation for you to follow along. So this is exactly what we will be doing here. This is a mini GIF. So as you can see, this is a snow globe that has 4 sides as if it was the real thing. So either you can gift this for people to put on their mantle, to put on their table, or in the tree. And as you can see, it's 2 pieces of paper that is inserted in one another. So you can easily mail this to your friends and family and gift that either in person as well, right? So for me to get here, it was a lot of testing. So much testing. I did a lot of dummies. I call them dummies, which I have scanned here because I wanted to make sure that whenever everything was inserted, that it actually followed the same image as you saw, right? So here was my dummies, and I wanted to share them because I have tried so many shapes. It's insane. I have them. If you want to see them, I have the chat up here. I can show them to you in the camera, no problem. And basically, this is the final results that I was able to get to, which is also part of the gift, because here in the Adobe Live Holiday Week, we have some gifts for you all week long. And if you download the link in the description, you can have access to these templates. So here you can see the model that I will be working with. I will actually show you what I have shared with you, so you have access to all of these designs. If you want them to stand on a flat surface, obviously you would have to take some that has a flat bottom. But if you want them to hang in the tree, you would have something like this, but you would need to add like a hole punch and add a string to it. Not to worry, I have also given you in that link some instructions for you to follow. I'm trying to do the next page. There you go, for you to follow. This is if you print it at home, but it's there. It's essentially the same for the printer. All right, let's go back to the presentation here. So the tricky part with this design specifically is that you need to design your images that you want to put into the snow globe, but also being able to split them. So we will be using a lot of clipping masks today and splitting everything. All right, just so you can understand, we start with this shape, which is a snow globe. Then we need to figure out the sides. And then the die line here, which is, I call it the slit, to make sure that everything fits into each other properly. All right, let's get rolling with this. And I'm just seeing, Izzy and Kat. Yes, actually, Yam is sleeping right beside me. Maybe he'll give us a quick stretch and we can see his face. I don't want to wake him up. But I have some funny stuff with Yam for you later on into this stream. So make sure to stay to see, because Yam was a massive inspiration for me for this project specifically. Okay, So first thing that I want to bring your attention, and we will start working with this. I won't be designing the full globe just because we have so much to do, but I want to bring your attention to the layers panel where everything has already been divided. So here, the snow globes, and if I just make sure to turn off those layers, is exactly how I showed it to you in the presentation. And I even called the layers like by its name, clipping mask. So this is where you would add your images, the die lines, and I just added the numbers so you know this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, etc., etc., etc. So in order to build the images that we want to put in, and it doesn't have to be illustration, it can literally be whatever you want. It could be pictures, it could be abstract, it could be whatever your heart pleases. But I have prepared some assets which I will be just designing here. So I'm just going to bring everything over. And those assets, I technically downloaded from Adobe Stock, but then I added my own twist to it. So if you're ever if you're ever doing your Christmas cards now, or holiday cards, greeting cards, and you're like, oh my gosh, I won't have a lot of time to do everything, that's okay, because this is a fast way of working. Adobe Stock to the rescue. So let's design one scene. So we'll start with the mountains. Just by doing this here. Perfect. And I want to do, oops, this one was not grouped. And if you have some suggestions on how to position everything, just let me know, and then we can figure it out together. I want to make sure that I have a lot of snow. So, and I'm going to do this white, bring it at the back. Actually, is this weird and I should put snow on top? I'm not sure. We'll see how it looks with, sometimes with the sky. The sky will determine. And I'm getting messy with this because it's okay. It's going to be in a clipping mask at the end anyway, so it's all good. Just bringing that to the back, and it's already started to look like something. Another thing that I want to mention is that because you will be splitting everything in half, and if we look back to the example at the beginning, the focus is never in the middle. So you need to make sure that you're creating the illustration or whatever you're creating, even if it's abstract, that the focus isn't in the middle, which is not how we're typically used to be creating illustrations. So this is a great challenge in itself. So let's go back to this. Then let's add some trees. I always like to copy because I can always go and copy again, but I still have my assets here. So this is just a mini trick. That's why my artboards get so messy, because I keep a copy of everything if ever I need to go back to it. Also thinking about perspective. If you're looking at like a scenery, right? Like everything will be super small when it's far back. And if it's at the front, it will have more details and it will be big. I'm just going to ungroup this. So I'm gonna do this tree, and it can be really big, like so. Okay, I think that even these are a little big for. My pleasure, Arshaya, for the giveaway. It was actually a lot of work to figure it out. I like brushed through it at the beginning of the stream, but oh my goodness. And it was really hard for me to explain too when I was like talking about it with my friends when I'm like, I want to do this 3D like ornament card. And they were like, huh? You know that cat GIF that reel that we have been seeing on Instagram mostly, like that, huh? Which is my favorite one so far. That's basically the reaction that I had when I was explaining this project to people. But that's okay because I'm happy that it actually came to life and I have something to show them. Another thing for when you're looking at something far off, like the colors aren't as crisp. So we can add some white trees like that too. We'll be sending this to the back. I don't know if a lot of you are doing some illustration work often, but sometimes when there's a lot of details like this, it's good to have layers because of problems that I've just encountered. That, you know, there was a lot of different pieces. So maybe you can have layers that is like front view, middle view, and then back view. However you call their layers, that's totally okay. As long as you understand your system. And this would be a personal project, but I figured too that a lot of you have corporate clients that might ask you, how can we reinvent the wheel with greeting cards, right? Well, maybe this is the answer for you. And what I do like about the snow globe idea is that it can be used for anything. It doesn't have to be about the holidays specifically. It can be about anything else. It could even be a crystal ball for New Year's, right? Where we're looking into the future. Or it can be about a birthday, about cats. If you do make one about cats, please send it to me because I would love to see that. And I'll definitely have the Crazy Cat Lady branding on Adobe, which is definitely true. For those of you who follow me, my Instagram stories have been about Yam climbing the Christmas tree these last few days. We have been going bananas, like trying to keep Yam off of the tree. Okay. Just trying to figure out how we can say this. To me does not work, that cottage. The snow needs to be in front of it, but I don't want to redo everything. So I'm just going to take the pen tool quickly and just draw some snow on top of it like this. Just going to soften that. Specifically this one. Just because snow isn't pointy unless it's ice. But we don't want that for the look of the snow globe. And maybe it should be just a tad bigger. As if it's there. A nice secluded little cottage. Just make that a little bigger. Is that something that some of you like, going to the cottage or going to secluded places just to have a moment after a crazy year? Personally, this is something that I absolutely love doing. Whenever I'm in the thick of it for like a design year, I call it design year, but every quarter is kind of crazy. But it's nice to have just a moment to chill and think about other stuff than design, which is hard for us. And I know, like, I don't want to start a whole conversation. Maybe that's a conversation for the chat, but as creatives, I don't know if this is a problem for all of you, but like I personally tend to do creative stuff for my hobbies. So I'm always creative. So sometimes I don't realize, but I'm always using my brain or this side of my brain. And I need breaks because if you keep putting out creativity and creative projects and you never replenish, then you're literally out of creativity. So it's good to have moments where you go and get inspired. So getting out of the house, going to secluded places, going to a museum, going on a trip, just going for walks sometimes too, like will definitely help to replenish on that creativity. Okay, how is this looking? This little tree is a little lonely. Need to add a few more. Oops. Make a little bigger. And again, just trying to make sure that this is awkward. I'm going to remove it. Trying to make sure that the middle part here is free. Even this. Is this weird? Maybe we'll just bring it at the front like that. Kind of like that better. This is kind of a tricky place to have. I'll make them this color. There you go. So then we can see them. And I'll bring it to the front. This is also a good practice to make sure that you're not like you're how can I say? Basically finding a great balance with your design, because it's still going to be like a fairly small snow globe depending on which paper you're printing it. So you do want it to have an impact, but at the same time, you still want the designs to breathe. So it is important to just play with composition. I'm just going to lift everything up just a little bit. I'm going to drag this down. Oh, Robert giving me some tricks for keeping yam so out of my tree. Funny enough, Robert, we have added mesh in the tree so then he can't get up from underneath. He can still jump over it. So we need to add a bit more in between the branches, but we're experimenting. So far, so good. Knock on wood, because he's been quite good in the past few days. Maybe he just needed some attention, and I did remove his little blanket from my desk a few days ago because I needed to work. I needed space to work. So maybe that's why he was being a little menace. Okay, how is this looking? And sometimes like a good trick too to like to see the composition without anything clouding your judgment is going to view and trim view so you can see. And keep in mind too that you will be like in a rounded shape. So this here will probably be cut. I'm quite happy with this, but in the sake to move this live forward, kind of like did the work in advance. I actually like this one a lot better though, I have to say. So here we have all of our scenes. And now I will be showing you how to add it in the globe. So if I go back here to the globe, I'm just going to lock all of the other layers. I want to make sure that I'm in the snow globe. I'm just going to make sure that I don't see them. And personally, because this is I'm bringing in vectors and not an image, I want to still have access to the vectorial and still play with it once they are divided. So in order to do that, I will select this. Oh, this is grouped. Select this top shape here. Here, when you see, like, there is like 3 little like shapes. Here, when you hover over it, it says draw inside. So I want to make sure I hit this. And I am going to go to File and then Place. I have to make sure that I go into my snow globe, and I should have prepared a little better with this. And here are my scenes. And I want to make sure that I have this here checked, Show Import Options. Then I do Place. It has to think a little bit. So see here, it's asking me which of the sceneries that you want to add. So because this is the first one, I'll do 1. And here, as you can see, it's doing a clipping mask before, like in front of my eyes, and I have a lot of flexibility with it. I know there's a lot of different ways to do a clipping mask, but for this version, I wanted to do it this way. Also, it's a new way for you to learn how to do it. So it works out perfectly. And see, I still have access to the vectorial. Now, you know what? I'm actually going to remove the snowflakes. Let's see if it actually updates, because it's technically a link. Let's see if it does that. If I go back here, I haven't tested that. Maybe not if it's not like that. No, it's okay. It won't link, but that's okay. You know what? I will actually go and remove the snowflakes and add them after. And the reason why I'm doing this is because whenever we're going to split everything in half, it's just going to be easier. So I'm going to redo this right here. Place. Show, oh, because it's still saving. There is a lot of details in here. This is definitely one that I think is a little bit too intense, but it's okay. Okay, let's go back to it. There you go. It's here. Show import. 1. Just making sure that I'm holding the shift key as well to keep my proportions. Perfect. And if this is still, if you see that there's still, like, now it's not, let's see if I can recreate it with the others. Draw inside. When you see those kind of dotted lines like around the shape, that means that you can only be adding to the shape. You can actually be adding a lot of stuff and build the layers in it. So if you're wondering, oh, I'm pasting something in and I don't know where it's going, it's because if you're still seeing this, that means you're still in this specific shape. This, I want to make sure that we see the little cottage like that. Actually, this tree is very much in the middle. Maybe we can do something like that. Okay. Oops. Same with this. Oh, see, I forgot to, it was not showing. I did another mistake. This sometimes happens whenever I'm going too fast. There you go. It's a little finicky sometimes, so you need to just like practice exactly what happened right now. Okay. Just resize it. This one is going to be a little tricky to divide in half, but that's okay. Who doesn't like a good challenge? And last but not least, the last one. There you go. It's crazy how sometimes it just like adds it very much outside the frame. Okay. So this is looking pretty good. I will actually color those like bottom part, or I don't know how you want to call that. Let's do it like a nice classic brown, or should we do another color? Actually, chat, if you're awake right now, if you're awake, if you want to chime in onto the design, please let me know what color would you like to see this, or if you trust me with it. Feel like it should be just a tad to give it like some shadows. We are, there you go. Arsharia is like, yes, I am here. I am here to design. There you go. Thank you for backing me up. Oh, did I wake you up, Clever Devlin? I hope not because of my content that you're snoring. I hope it's because you've had a big year so far and you need a vacation. Light brown, okay. We could do that. Yes, you're absolutely right. Robert is suggesting like we could use a 3D material wood. You can definitely play with that. I still want to keep the same look and feel whenever we put everything together. So adding a big texture to me would feel like heavy. But it is like a great suggestion, and I think it could be super cool if it were like a different like design inside. And like I said, you can literally do anything with this model. Just removing the outlines right here. Okay, so now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, you know what? Maybe it could use just a little pep, and I'm just a little curious. I want to see what it would look like with some new colors. And, you know, holidays now. Oh, is it locked? No, perfect. Holidays now is no longer like the regular white, red, and green. So let's do a little bit of Gen AI on this and recolor. Let's just see. If we go here, what about a trippy disco? Like, what would that look like? Well, like a Barbie Christmas? Oh man, this is a Barbie. How kind of like that. And then you can definitely go in and change like that. Brown tree is a little weird, but see, like this is still very holiday-like, and it looks really nice. I'm going to keep that. And I want to try like some new colors with that. Yes, Natalia, it is that time. Gen recolor time. It's just nice to see sometimes whenever you're designing and you want to just see other options, because who knows sometimes, right? This was very generic, and it's good to see other options. How about that's funny. Let's do Summer by the Sea, which is like completely the different vibes that we're going for. But hey, sometimes it can still give you some great results. Like, see, I kind of like this turquoise seafoam vibes. And what I like about this too is that if you wanted to match your ornament to, like, let's say your decoration at home, this is also like a great way to test out some stuff. Let's do another one just because it's fun. Maybe we're gonna type something. Maybe we'll say, oh, there you go. Could do nighttime starry night. There you go. Nighttime starry night. Starry sky, my bad. Let's see what it does. Let's see if it understands that it needs to switch the sky. And it does. I really like this. This was a great prompt. Good idea. Actually, I was saying it looks better in purple. It does add like a bit of kick to it. And even myself, when personally, and you have to be able to critique your own work. Whenever I was designing this myself, I did find the colors just a little stale. And maybe it's because of the I know we're used to seeing this and there's nothing new about it. And if you know me, I don't like anything boring in my designs. So I really, really like this. So you know what? Let's work with this one. I'm going to do a copy just to have back, like, so I can reference it if needed. Okay, so now I want to be able to mix and match the views. And this is where it gets a little tricky, and having the guides will definitely help you. So if I go, oops, here, I'm just going to do a quick save. There's a lot of assets, so it might, yeah, okay, perfect. It was not that bad. Like, hopefully it won't crash anything because this is a heavy file. So we'll select this here. Maybe we check this layer, which should be on top, which we can reference here. It's hard to see. So maybe I can do this. 1472. So I know that 1 and 2 goes here. I will be selecting this. I will go into the Pathfinder option. Hold on, before I do that, I forgot. I would like to have a line that separates it, and I just want to do the globe. I don't want to do the bottom surface. I'll just make that line flashy so you can see it. Let's do this, and I'll do it a little bigger. There you go. Just to make sure that it's perfectly centered, I'm going to center it like so. Just going to move this away because I want to make sure that this is actually coming out from the other side, or else it won't do that perfect separation. Now I will go to my Pathfinder. If it's not here, I've actually added it to my go-to tools on my sidebar, but you can always go to Window and go to Pathfinder. It's right here. Select everything, Pathfinder, and I will do this one, divide. And now it's divided. I'm gonna select this and do ungroup. I'm actually going to move the bar here. And now everything is its own little piece, which is why you don't want to have tiny pieces, right? That's just kind of like, and it's hard to move. So I'm going to do this here, select everything. Oh, it's still going to do this, going to group this and group this. So now I have 2 different pieces like so. And I'm going to repeat this for all of them. I just want to see if I have not prepared this ahead of time. So I'll do this very quickly. Again. A neat chop snip. Yes, correct. I'll do the same here. Divide. ungroup twice just to make sure. Group it. And see here, I forgot some pieces. When you actually separate it, then you can truly see it. There you go. And I actually like that, the fact that it's all of the little pieces, because then if I wanted to arrange it after, I still have easy access to the vectors, which is great. Again, just making sure it's centered. Pathfinder divide. This here will be a little tricky. Making sure it's ungrouped. Aha. This takes a bit of concentration, so just going to, there you go. Going to lock this because I seem to be grabbing them as I'm trying to group. Okay, group. If I move it, oh, that was nice. That was a lot of details, and there was not the first try, but let's like pretend it was. Okay. Same with this. Oops, actually I want to keep them together. Again, divide. Oops, actually, was it centered? I'm not sure about that. Let's make sure it's centered before we move forward, because then we won't be able to. All of the little steps have its significant, so you can't necessarily skip over it. And it's tedious work. I have not been, this is not an easy project, but it's definitely a fun one. Just want to make sure this is a clean cut. Group, group, perfect. So now we have all of this. So now we're just going to be messing it all up. I'm going to actually copy paste everything so we have access to it. And I just remembered that I have some stuff that is locked. I'm just going to copy paste this. And I'm actually going to go back to the presentation here to remember the sides. So I have 1, 4 together. So technically, this is 1, this is 4. Wait. I have to make sure that whatever these two are on the same side and will be printed side by side or recto verso. So 1 and 4 is okay. So this is 1, this is 4. Like so. You want to make sure that they are properly aligned. You can use the align tool for this. I usually do align top. And then just making sure, there you go, it's touching the bottom like that. So then the next one was 5, 8. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5 and then 8 is here. So see, this is when it's a little tedious to do this, but it's okay because we're doing it together. And it might take you a few tries. As I said at the beginning, it took me a few tests to do all this, but I figured it out. So there you go. So technically this here is the reverse side. And then it was 7, 2. Bend your brain to do this, definitely. So this is 7. How come are we missing a piece? Oh, here it is. This was 2. No, yes. This here, they almost look the same, but they're not. There you go, perfectly aligned. Like so. And same here. So why are we doing this when we could just have them like properly, right? It's because if ever you were to send this to the printer, you need to figure this out for them, because it will be two like recto verso, like pieces that they will be printed. If you wanted to do this at home, you would need to print them individually, glue this like side by side to make sure that like both sides with the same slit are together, which I'll show you, and then insert it. It is kind of complicated. And yes, Clever Deadline, if ever you've been designing books, sometimes like specifically if they're, I think is that perfect bound that it's called, you have to do this where for like the pages meet. And it's, like I said, it's a little tedious. This is when, to me, graphic design is magic, because we figure it out at the end. That's why I love to work with dummies. I call them dummies, like all of this like mini tests that I've done, just to make sure like where everything falls, and then I can like truly see, okay, is it aligning properly? Is the slit long enough? Is it sitting on top properly? So it's good to have this. Okay, so once you have this, then if you need to know where you will be cutting. So let's just bring this to the first template where we had everything. If I go back to the layers, see here, we can see also, I could have come just here for the designs. Just going to bring it here and steal whatever is right there. My layers didn't copy properly when I copied everything with the generic color because they were locked. So that's on me. If they're not locked, then you can easily copy them. So here, I'm just going to make like another artboard like so. You want to make sure that you have that slit line, just so it's either you know or the printer knows exactly where to cut. So I'm going to actually lock the clipping mask because we don't need it, but I want this line right here. And how do you measure that line? Well, if ever you're doing a different design, it would be just a little bit more than half of the full thing. And I can show you how I did it just in a moment. Just to want to make sure that it's perfectly aligned. Oops. Make sure that everything is grouped first. Then you can align with the top. Same thing here. Group it. Just want to make sure. There you go. Okay, perfect. Oops, I did not group that properly. Group it. Okay. So if ever I was going to take this here, see, I don't have I'm going to group it. In order to measure like the slit line to make sure like wherever I should like have it, I did a line like this, and I know this is counterintuitive, but I wanted to make sure that I knew exactly where the center of this was. So I'm gonna use my align tool, gonna select it and use the center horizontal and center vertical. So this here is my center, right? I'm going to do the same with this and do the exact same thing here. So if I look at this, this here is my center. So what I did for the top line, now you want to make sure that you're not moving the whole thing, that you double click to select the anchor. You can hold shift to make sure that it stays straight. And same thing for this. And I would want it to be just a little bit, I'm gonna, longer than the middle. Why? Just to make sure that it sits properly. Because if it's the middle, there, like whenever you're inserting, it might just be just a tad up. So it's just to make sure that everything fits well. And now whenever you're like for the slit at the bottom, you can do the exact same. If you copy everything and just bring this at the bottom, like so. So this would be your slits. If ever you're going to the printer with this, you would need to add it on a different layer, which if you're working from the template that I have given you is already on a different layer. And you would also write, do not print, because this is for like a guide for the printer. You don't want to have that line that's just kind of showing up. If you're printing it at home, then I would try to, if you still want to have that guide, I would try to do something that is very, very close to your design, that it's very seamless, something like this. So you know that it's there. Also, I would not make it that thick. It's super thick right now. So you know that it's there, but whenever you cut over it, like only your eyes can see that it's there. Specifically because in order to print this at home, you need to glue the two sides yourself. I have used double sided tape. And sometimes they don't perfectly align depending on how you cut it. You want to be very specific on how, like, or precision, like precise on how you cut. Because it might not align perfectly, but it's also in the beauty of it, right? Like you can truly see that it's handmade. So this is that. Okay. So we have all this, we have all of the, where was I going with this? Sorry. So we have all our sides. Let's pretend that we have like all of our slits together. It's ready to go to the printer. Now what? Now, actually, you need to, if ever it's going to the printer, now this is a little tricky because how do you do bleed for this? It's a tricky one. So if you're advanced in this, you would need to bleed all of your shapes, right? Like you would bring, do I have like the outline still? You would need to make sure that all of the colors in those specific areas are going outside of the outline of this. I have an example to explain this that's just a little bit easier. So for my card, I wanted to do the exact same concept for my cards this year. And as I've explained to you, and this little menace that's sleeping beside me has been in my tree this whole time. I kind of wanted to honor that and make that kind of a souvenir for this year. So I have designed a tree just like that with just yam that is like right here. I mean, it looks like him. It looks like him so much. I've actually made like a presentation too for this. So you can see, oh yeah, this is what I meant by let your imagination go wild. It doesn't have to be printed too. You can like use them for your Instagram, just have fun with them, wish everyone like happy holidays. Use them however you please. If you want me to see them, you can also tag me. But yes, so I wanted to do the same concept as I just shown you. And I was having a really hard time on finding exactly what I wanted to do for the snow globe. I wanted to have something that is very meaningful, but then I figured, again, like whatever shape that is symmetrical, I can do whatever I want with it. So I started toying around with a tree, and this was the inspiration. I mean, literally, this was the inspiration. Like this is Yam's butt like coming out of the tree. Yes, Natalia, cat. Yeah. So this here was my dummies, and you can see, and I really liked how everything stand on its own. Was very happy with it. And then for the illustration, like I said, I had a really hard time for the snow globe, and I went to Adobe Stock and then put my own spin to it. But for this, I took pictures of my tree, brought it into fresco, and just started like doodling on top of it. So these are actually ornaments that you can find in my tree, including Yam. And if you're wondering what this is, well, this is the little butt that's coming out, but I've added a tail because it was a little confusing if it was just like the fur ball that's coming out. Hey, thank you so much, Emilie Poulain. So yeah, again, like this is the template, and it is there in the giveaway that you can download. This is how I have set up everything. And I've also added a side that had nothing. And this is where you can get creative with your, like having the ornament double as a greeting card, because if you have one side, then you can add your messages behind it. Like my goal with this is that I'm going to take a nice silver Sharpie and then write like happy holidays and some wishes. This is exactly what I meant for the die line and how you would do a bleed, because the tree here is all solid, one solid color in the background. It was very easy to just like have the background like so. And oops, let me go back to Illustrator. All good. So, and this is how I sent it to the printer. Side A, side B, so then they would know, and then the slit is perfectly aligned. And I want to show you, oops, I've had them delivered this morning, and this is how they look like in person. So this is here where I would write my message. And we have Yam here, and I even have his butt coming out right here. So please have fun with this. Also in the download link that I have given you, I have given you the option to do this with your family, to print it at home, do this with the kids, with the nieces, even have this as an activity, have fun. And this was my last Adobe Live of the year. Happy holidays and Happy New Year to everyone. Make sure to tune in because, like I said, there is like a full week of just festive inspiration on Adobe. So grab your giveaway by tapping the link in the description, and stay tuned for Ben Welsh from the Adobe Font Show as he designs some gift tags. So actually perfect combination with this. You'll be all set. He's going to be doing that in Illustrator and Adobe Express. Happy holidays, everyone. It was great to see you.